Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is a video that's going to be a little bit outside of my comfort zone because we're going to be talking about a digital pen. My handwriting is awful. I'm not much of an artist, but I know a lot of people really wanted to know about the pen input on the OneMix 3 Yoga, so let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, the OneMix Yoga is a device with a 8.4-inch display, an Intel Core M3 processor, and it's a convertible tablet-style device, which means that you can flip the screen back and switch over to tablet mode, or flip it and use it like a laptop. It's a little bit larger than some previous devices from OneNote, and it has a much nicer, larger keyboard. It's backlit keys, it's 6 rows, 67 keys, and I can type at around 80 words a minute. The only things really holding me back are the placement of some of these keys and maybe the fact that instead of a full-size touchpad, we have this little optical touch sensor. Now, for folks who really do like pen input, though, you have the option of doing that as well. It does not come standard with a pen, but for about $20 on top of the price of the computer itself, you can get a pen that supports, it's an active pen, it's got an active digitizer, it supports Microsoft's pen protocol. And what that means is that in addition to using this pen, you could use a Surface pen or something like this HP Spectre 360 pen that I've also got lying around. Anything that supports that protocol should work. Now, I've had that pen for about 6 months, that HP Spectre one. I rarely use it, so manage your expectations. Let's go ahead and flip over to tablet mode in Windows 10 here, and I'm going to open up OneNote, which is an app that lets you take notes, handwritten or otherwise. So you can see here that we can bring up the text input box here, and we can label this note as Liliputing, or whatever it decides I've just written. Liliputing. That's pretty close. It's not too bad. Let's see if we can go back. Try this again. Liliputing. Oh, I think that's not going to work. Liliputians. Close enough. So we've got a note called Liliputians. And let's go ahead and pick a pen. And now that I've selected the pen, let's show palm rejection. So you can see I've actually got my palm on the tablet itself while I was writing, so that's something that you can do. You can erase this by clicking the button on the pen and sort of going over what you've just written, or you can undo actions to bring back what we just did and keep going until it's like we did nothing at all, including naming this apparently. I'll show you a little pressure sensitivity. Let's see. So that's pressing down kind of harder. Here's a little bit softer. It's not a huge difference. I don't know if that means that the pen doesn't support as much pressure as it's supposed to, because again, I'm not much of an artist and I don't do this very often. But I didn't see a huge variation there, but there's a little bit of one. Let's try this. Yeah, you can definitely see a difference as I press hard versus when I don't. Maybe there's also a little bit of lag. It's not too bad as far as I'm concerned, but again, artists or people who do a lot of handwriting may or may not notice that as you write, there's a little bit of a delay between putting your pen down and seeing something happen. And we can highlight. So that's a little taste of OneNote. Let's go ahead and close this. Maybe switch away from tablet mode back to desktop mode, and try something a little bit more complicated, which I am even less familiar with than I am OneNote. So we're going to open the open source Krita, or however you pronounce it, art app, because this is something else that was requested, and we'll just take a quick look and see how it works. So let's go ahead and open a new file. That size seems decent. And one thing that I do like about a pen is that it's a little bit more precise than just using your fingertips. So whereas it might be kind of hard to tap a fine point here, you should be able to use a pen. This device does have a 2560 by 1600 pixel display, so it's pretty sharp. The screen also looks pretty bright right now. Let's see if we can adjust the brightness to make it a little better. There we go. So it's pretty sharp, and so having a precise input like a pen is a nice thing to be able to have. Let's go ahead and find a brush here. Do we need to change the color? Okay, for some reason nothing's showing up. Let's try a different one. There we go. So as you'll notice, I have quite a bit of artistic talent, which I am perfectly happy to use on occasions such as this. Let's do a little airbrushing, and maybe, can we change the color? Nope. Undo, undo. Whoop. Now let's just do this. And then use a little eraser to make some neat things. So, yeah, clearly I don't know what I'm doing, but I did want to show you that, these applications work. They're relatively easy to use. They're probably even easier to use if you have more artistic skills than I do. Oh, look, we can change the color. Bunch of different brushes that we can choose from here. For different effects. Looks like we got a little pixelizing going on here. So you can use it for artistic tools. You can also use it, again, for sort of finer input. So if you wanted to, for instance, I think we've got press and hold for right click. But you can also adjust it, I think, so that, perhaps you can use the button. So I can hold there's two buttons, one up top, one behind. So if I wanted to use it in tablet mode and I didn't want to have to do the long press to click, I could do a short, I think. There we go. Short, press the button, hold, and click, and that would allow me to do things like view properties for different applications and so on. So it's also just another way to navigate without necessarily having to use the tiny little touchpad here, or reaching up and touching the touchscreen. So that's a quick look at pen input. There's probably a lot more that people who are more qualified than I am would be able to tell you about it, but it does support palm rejection, supports pressure sensitivity, at least to some degree, and it's not a particularly expensive add-on. There's a little bit of lag. Performance is maybe not quite as precise as I might like, and hopefully this video showed you a little bit about what the performance looks like, and you can judge for yourself based on that. And hopefully this will get into the hands of real artists in the not too distant future, and we'll be able to find out more. Speaking of finding out more, you can find out more about the One Mix 3 Yoga at Liliputing.com, or check out the description of this video for some links to buy it or find out more information in some other articles that I've written at Liliputing.com. This was sent to me by the folks at One Netbook who make the One Mix Yoga line of devices for purposes of this review, and I've got a whole bunch of other videos that'll look at this and other mini laptops in terms of what they can do. And this time I just wanted to look at the pen, which, as I mentioned, is not something I'm usually very comfortable with, but I wanted to make sure that I did my due diligence and showed you that the pen at least does work. I should also point out that this pen is powered by a single AAA battery, and it's relatively easy to replace should you need to. So again, Brad Linder, Liliputing, One Mix 3 Yoga, pen support. And I'm going to turn off the camera and figure out how to screw this back in. Okay, now I'm just being stubborn. Did I put it in upside down? Voila!